Hi, and thanks so much for joining me for this Get Ready With Me featuring my 2024 Luxury Beauty favorites. This is a follow-up to my 2024 favorites. If you have not seen that, where I talk about all of my favorites of the year, I try to find the best of the best. Today I'm showing you them in action, so if you'd like to see that video, I will list that below. And we still have a few days before the end of the year to reach 25,000 subscribers, so if you have not already subscribed, I would appreciate if you did. And if you are a subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. But let's go ahead and get started. Going with primer first, this is by Chanel. It is their mattifying primer. So I have the illuminating one, this is the mattifying one. It works best for my needs, which happens to be combo skin. And I also have some pores up here that I want to blur. So I just really apply it up front here where I get oily, right between my eyebrows, but not anywhere else. Because everywhere else I have more normal skin and I don't have to worry so much about makeup moving around or my skin getting too oily. So I also let that just set for a moment before I go in with foundation. And I just used the littlest bit. We're gonna go in a little different order here. So I think eye concealer makes one of the biggest differences on me, and this is my choice of eye concealer. Now I do have a couple of other favorites, but let me see if maybe I can do a couple. Let me see what I can do for you. I feel like depending on your skin type, you might like different types of concealers. And these are the ones I've pulled for. I'm looking for a brush. These are the ones I've pulled for quite a bit this year. Okay, let's use this BK Beauty. This is an A506 brush. And this is a little bit bigger than what I normally use, but just taking the littlest bit, like I'm taking off some of the excess here. Oh, this is, by the way, in the shade 40. It's the best shade for me. So we'll do this one, and then we'll do the Westman Atelier also, so you can see that under the eye. Then I just take the excess down. And just a tip for the Chanel concealer, a little goes a long way, and also moisturizing really well before I apply this is key. If I apply this when my under eye area is not moisturized well, it can emphasize some lines under here if I don't moisturize well. So I really have to apply this at the right time as well, just when my moisturizer has absorbed a little bit, but not too much. I think moisturizing is key, and a little goes a long way. Okay, so then over here, this is the concealer I will use to cover up not just under eye, but also dark spots. So this is my one concealer I will do that with. The Chanel I will use exclusively for the eye area, and this I will use for the eye area and dark spots. So Westman Atelier M2. So I'll show you what that looks like. Again, this is one that I would make sure I am really hydrated well in that under eye area. So that's my dark spot as well. So you can see there how this one's got a pinker undertone, which works because I have neutral undertones too. And this one has a more warm undertone, even though it's the peachiest one I could find in my range. But I also have warm undertones, so I think they both work. Actually, probably if I blended them together, it'd be perfect. Okay, next we've got my favorite foundation of the year, which has been a favorite foundation in the past as well. So this is Chantecaille. It's their Future Skin Cushion, and this one looks beautiful on application. It looks beautiful after hours of wear. It looks very natural, but also you can get a perfected look with this, and it takes just a little bit. I'm going to use the applicator that comes with this, and I happen to have a new one here. So just tapping it in, some of the foundation on there, and then just pressing like this. This is a good place to start because I don't have concealer here. This is the shade Wheat, by the way, and nude does work nicely on me as well, but we're going to go with a little bit more color today. So really, really skin-like, just pretty looking, and I could stop here actually. It looks really nice and not powder, it sets itself, but I'm going to go ahead and continue to perfect. So we're going to go in with the Victoria Beckham in Trench. I'm going to use that right here under the bottom eyelash just to cancel redness. just works better than concealer because it doesn't move around. It sticks really nicely, adheres to the skin. So I have those little diagonal lines. You can see concealing, I really don't need that much concealing, but I'll show you how we can perfect. So if I don't use the Westman Atelier, so this is Westman Atelier concealer, this is Clé de Peau. So I get questions about the best concealer for hyperpigmentation because I've been dealing with it for so long, and this really is the best. It's the Clé de Peau, it's got SPF, this is in honey. It does a really nice job of opaque coverage without looking heavy. It moves with the skin, it doesn't break apart during the day. It looks really, really nice. So I'm gonna use a concealer brush here. This is a Sephora Pro Concealer 45. I'm just gonna kind of pat that in. And I have texture here, pores. So anything that adds a lot of layers can really emphasize that texture, but it does a nice job of laying flat to the skin. And then again, you can see the Westman Atelier coverage there as well. And then I'm gonna just use this Broken Capillaries here, take a little bit of that. So I use this Clé de Peau on my face, but not under my eye. It's a little too thick for the under eye area for me. Right here is where I get a little redness as well. I will use this for the eye area in a little bit. Going in with a powder. This is such a beautiful setting powder. It's Clé de Peau's setting powder. It's pressed. And this is the most recent version. I have tried their loose powder, which I love. And they, for some reason, did not carry that anymore. And then I went to their pressed powder. And then they updated the pressed powder. So this is the updated version. It's really lovely. Very silky, just really stippling it up here in the front. My pencil does a little bit better when it's not super moisturized in that eyebrow, so that's why I add powder there. Then I get a little bit oily here in between. I did not powder here on the sides, just in the front, so you can see the difference. So it doesn't totally bring the glow down. It still looks really skin-like, but you can tell it's been powdered, so it's beautiful. It's translucent on me. So now we're gonna work on these brows. So my brow gel of choice is the Jones Road Beauty Brow. I love the clear one, which this is, and also light brunette. So I noticed recently light brunette was sold out. So let me know if you use that. But I like this because it's got really great hold. For a more natural brow, clear is great. I also noticed I have a couple of white hairs there, so I might have to start using more of the light brown just to add a little bit of color back. So that's how it looks. It's got enough hold without being crunchy and without depositing too much product. I noticed some of the other brow gels either deposit too much or not enough. I think it's a fine balance here when it comes to brow products to get that hold but also still look natural. While we let that kind of set for a little bit, I do want to go in with another powder because I love perfecting. I really love when I have time that I can perfect my makeup. So we're gonna go in with a Chantecaille Perfect Blur Powder. I love this for really just meshing all of these products together, like the concealer and the foundation. And then also it helps smooth over the appearance of pores. So it's gonna look even more perfected here. I think powder is so powerful. So that's with the Perfect Blur Powder. There's a difference in the quality. It's even more refined. It's really pretty. I still want to let those brows just set. So I'm going to go in with bronzer. Bronzer is one of the most fun products I think to use. And we are going to go in with the Hermes bronzer in Atlas. This has the warmest tone to it. I keep it really high. Right here, like it's almost on the cheekbone there. That's how high I apply that. Okay, so there's the difference with bronzer and no bronzer. It's very soft, very natural looking. This is a Sonia G brush. And I loved this brush because of the description where it said it would not move makeup underneath. I think one of the most frustrating things about makeup is when you do such a nice job applying something, especially like base, and then you start lifting it off with either brushes or product. So I appreciate that aspect of this brush. By the way, you should be seeing some shopping tabs popping up as I talk about products, so you can go ahead and check them out, see more information about them, and continue watching the video. And those are also affiliate links. So it's just like the affiliate links in the description box, but you can also shop off those tabs. So thank you so much if you are using those. I appreciate it. I've got two Baby Blade products. So this is by Victoria Beckham. I'm going to go in with Taupe first to kind of build out that shape because it's less intense and it's nice and cool. It's almost the same shade as my brows. So let me do that first. So it's a lot easier to build this front part with something like Taupe because it's not as harsh. And then also building a shape with this, I've learned it's easier to then layer dark brown on top of this once I have this shape laid out. So again, the front can be nice and soft with Taupe. Okay, now that we've got that in, I'm going in with dark brown here. So that's how it looks before dark brown. And I'm just starting here. I'm going to focus on the arch here and the tail, and then maybe a few interspersed there. So let me do one brow so you can see. Oops. Make a boo-boo like that, just use a spoolie. So this is dark brown with Taupe and just Taupe. So I didn't really add anything up here with the dark brown, just at the tail end. So it brings more dimension to the brow, so it's not just this monochromatic brow. It was a really great spoolie on this to soften everything as well. Okay, now that we've framed the face, we've got a nice even complexion going, natural looking, a little bit of color. Let's go in with eyes. Let's go in with 03. This one's by Clé de Peau. And we're going to go in with the primer shade first. It's got more of a creamy texture. Got here a Rephr number 2. Yeah, this is a great one and done as well. It just brightens the eye area, evens out that skin tone. Really refined kind of glow on this. And then let's go in with a crease color. We're going to take this as our crease color right here. Got a 15 max. Now the distance between my eye and my eyebrow is quite large, so I can use a fluffier brush here. But I'm still focusing it in that crease area. Really creamy, really easy to use kind of shadow. And not a whole lot of color is deposited immediately, so it allows time to build this. Also allows for more subtle look if that's what you want, which I prefer. So that was just a little bit. Then we're going to go in with this deepest shade here next. Let's use this Rephr number, this is a 15 mini. I'm just gonna put that in there. Just lay it against this outer part of my eye. And I can kind of feel that crease there, and I just wiggle it back and forth just to deposit that, just like that. But we're gonna fix that, so it won't just stay like that. And then I'm going to take that brush again, this one, and just blend together. Like, that was so fast, just getting that look together. I just want to blend this to the crease. Okay, and then I'm going to take this shade right here. I'm going to just apply it right in between that darkest shade and the lightest shade. So right here, where those two meet. That's just a really quick way for me to blend this and blur that line so it looks more seamless. And my eyelids are quite small, so I don't have a whole lot of room for a brush, so that's why this is more precise. Yeah, it's more of a gentle transition between these two colors versus this one. So let's do the same. And now I'm also going to take this and add that to the center of the lid. Just really builds a lot of dimension really easily. I'm actually going to take this same brush. I'm just going to take the excess off. I'm going to go into that color, and I'm going to use that to blend this upper part close to the brow bone, just to make that really gentle. So going in with my favorite mascara, there are actually two by Chantecaille. I've been using the Faux Longest Lash for as long as I can remember, and I've really been testing out the Faux version of it. So the Faux Longest Lash with the wavy pattern on it has peptides in it, and this one without the wavy lines does not have peptides in it. It has a really beautiful, very similar result in terms of the appearance of the mascara. So I love this because I really enjoy spending time adding mascara when I do have time, and I like it to be built up really beautifully without clumping without looking spidery, and this mascara delivers every time. It just has a really tapered appearance on the ends of the eyelashes that looks really natural. If I want to just do one coat like this, like that, looks really natural, but of course I'm going to keep adding. So I will see you in a little bit. I'll let you know how many coats I've added, or else we're gonna be here for a while. Lashes really do have an effect on my eye makeup. Now, you'll see, and I think you saw when I first applied the mascara, sometimes I get mascara on my eyelids. And if that happens, then I like to make sure it's dry before I do anything with it. So I'm gonna make sure it's dry, and while we let it dry, let's go in with a blush. So we're going to go in with two blushes because I feel like they're a little bit different and I like this combination. So we're going in with the Chanel blush. This one is in Rose Ardent, and we're going to just apply it for a pop of color. Morse brush, I love their blush brushes. This is a mini Kabuki, and you can see how pink that is. We're just gonna add a pop of color, and I like this because it's got a coolness to it, and it has a really vibrant kind of quality to it. But we're also gonna mute that down here in a little bit. But it's very skin-like. It's very flattering on the cheeks, especially if you're concerned about things like texture. It's a very soft effect, almost like a filter on the skin. It's beautiful. We want to just keep it here though. And then that means we're going in with a second blush. And this is my blush that I love for everything. I love it by itself, but I especially love it layered like this because then we can add some dimension, kind of like the brows, adding a lighter and a darker color together to get a really beautiful multi-dimensional kind of appearance. So let's go in with another Kabuki brush. I have a couple of these Morse brushes. And this one, we're gonna take all the way up to the front because that one has a peachy tone. I know I can't even really see the discoloration, but I think I'm just so used to trying to meld everything together. But it works really well on this front part of my face where there is texture because I think it's a really great illustration of how it does not emphasize texture. That's where I've got a lot of visible texture, whether I'm smiling or not. So this other texture happens because I'm smiling, like smile lines. But if I'm not smiling, you don't really see the texture. But here you see texture whether I'm smiling or not. So I think it's a great place to test something for texture or not. So going in on the other side. You can see there that glow. It's just maintains that glow. It's not sparkly, it just has a glow. It's so pretty right there. And it's not the same tone as and this is again the tone here. I think that's really pretty. I think that eye makeup, the mascara is dry now. So let's go in, and this is the way I take care of it. Take a spoolie and I just grab those parts, and this one I have to be careful because it's right here. But it just lifts off the mascara without disturbing anything else. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is add some concealer by CdP. This is a CdP brush, concealer brush. Oh, by the way, I do have my nails done in, put them back here so I wouldn't forget, my favorite nail polishes, the Hermes. And this one is in 01, Rose Porcelaine, and this is the top coat. Grabbing this so I don't forget to add it at the end. This is Beige by Chanel. So let me do my hair really fast, fix this, put something on. We're gonna add lip and highlighter and then finish up. I also love what this does. So this is the Hourglass. I rediscovered this year. It's the dim light and I have just been so pleased with it. So I thought, let me just add it now. I already know I have 2 powders on, but I want to add a third because this really is, I guess I have 3 different favorite powders. So they're so powerful to me. So this is Dim Light by Hourglass and it's teeny tiny and it's lasted me this whole year. And I love it because it just allows the skin to have that glow to it. And I know I already have glow, but I like to make sure that's added back because that's what I've been really enjoying is this kind of natural looking skin. Although at this point I have a lot of makeup on here and it's not as natural as I like it. It's more perfected than I normally have it. But when I have things so perfected, sometimes it takes away from the skin-like quality of the makeup. So I like to add that back with this product. Oh, I have a little something fell down there. I like to add it right back up in the front here. We're also going to add highlighter. This probably won't be a surprise. I don't love highlighter, but I really enjoyed this product. This one's by Victoria Beckham, and it's got a balmy texture to it, so it's going to add some moisture here. It can go directly on, I can pat it on, and so let me just add a little bit here on the high points of the cheek, just patting it on here. Adds a little bit of glow, but doesn't emphasize that texture. It's nice and hydrating on the skin as well. You can see right there. It's really gentle, and I'm going to go down the bridge of my nose as well. Just turn it on its side so it's more narrow. Yeah, it's very natural looking. And then the other side. It's really just where I add highlighter, just for that catching of the light. Lip is so hard for me to pick because I have so many that I love, and I know what looks really good on camera versus what really looks good in real life. And there is one that I really consistently pull for time and time again. I love a more natural look. I like when it adds just enough color. I love hydration, but not too glossy. So this is the one I picked. I don't really know how it's going to come across here. So let's put this on. It's Bourbon Rose by Chantecaille. Let's go ahead and add, yeah, it's really pretty. Let's go ahead and add my favorite fragrance, Chanel Beige. And this one, again, it's described as a floral, and I get a lot of floral on the onset, but then it really settles in and I get more of a soap clean quality to it. Really beautiful. So it's exactly how I expect it to be. It's beige, it's understated, it's elegant, it's sophisticated, but it's also not fussy. It's not too stuffy either, but it definitely has an easy elegance about it. Timeless, classic, all of those things that I love, but also casual at the same time. So I love this. This has become a daily fragrance for me. It's really beautiful. And that is it for the Get Ready With Me. I hope you enjoyed this look. You could see why I really like all of these products alone and together. This is very much a signature type look for me, where it's all about the skin. It's a little bit more perfected than I normally have it though, but really it's featuring the skin, getting that nice and even looking, highlighting the eyes without adding too much makeup, framing the face with the brows, and then just a really pretty lip. Something that's not too high maintenance, just adds a little bit of color, a little bit of a healthy glow. And I think that's what my aesthetic really is. It's about looking polished, put together, but not super overdone, and really just achieving a harmonious, effortless kind of look. But let me know what your favorites are, how you'd love to apply them. I'd love to try them in the new year. But that is it for today's video, so please take care of each other. Stay well if you enjoyed this video. If you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time. This is in the shade Wheat, by the way. Nude works with me as well, on me, with me. That mocha shade almost, and then I'm going to apply that right, oh gosh, I'm going to apply that right in between. Lashes have a really big effect on at least my eye makeup, in fact with at least my eye. So now we can see what lashes lashes do.